Jays are idle tonight in Miami. Bieber will debut as the Jays starting pitcher tomorrow night. Tonight you can watch baseball on TSN. We've got the Yankees and Red Sox, and that's on TSN 4 later tonight. Keegan Matheson, MLB.com, Baseball Insider, is with us now. Keegan, welcome. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing well, Jim. How we doing?
Good. So, I mean, I'm going to tip my pitch, fastball inside. You were seated here last week with us, and I don't remember anybody ever talking about Eric Lauer going to the bullpen, but there he is. Is that the move you would make?
We must have lost the audio, Jim, of me predicting that accurately. It must have been buried somewhere in the TSN archives.
There you go. Okay.
But let me tell you, this is surprising how they're structuring it. But I do see the sense in it now that I've heard John Schneider talk through it, now that I've heard Eric Lauer talk through it, in that it's going to probably look different every single week. And the best way to look at it now, guys, is that there's going to be Shane Bieber, and I would argue probably Max Scherzer, who you prioritize. You're going to keep Shane Bieber on his start day. He comes first. He's coming back from Tommy John, and he's really good. He's going to get first dibs on when his next start day is. Next week, Eric Lauer might not line up on that day. It might be Chris Bassett. Maybe Chris Bassett is the guy available out of the bullpen for 1 week. Maybe after that, it's Jose Barrios for one trip through. And in a perfect world, I think on Friday against the Marlins, they're up 100-0 in the fifth inning, and you can make Eric Lauer pitch the rest of the game. Make it work that way, keep it being a start. But this is really going to look a little different every week, at least for the first few weeks until somebody really stumbles. And I can see the sense in it. It's a little complicated. It's going to take some puzzles being put together, I think, by John Schneider and Pete Walker. But it's an interesting approach, creative.
So, Keegan, what's your level of concern? The fact that they come out of Pittsburgh having dropped 2 of 3 against the last-place team. That's the 4th series loss to a last-place team this season. They dropped 2 of 3 to the A's in July, 3 of 4 to the Orioles in July, 2 of 3 to the White Sox in July. I mean, they've been punching up to the good teams and playing really well against their fellow contenders, and yet they've dropped some games that maybe they shouldn't against these bottom feeders. Does that bother you, or how do you explain it?
It does for right now. You're right when you say they've been punching up to the good teams too, and that's good because nobody sucks in October. You're going to be playing good teams, and they've been playing good ball against them, but you need to get there. You need to take these gimmies along the way. They did that in Colorado. The Rockies are really bad, and they made them look really bad. But since then and around that series, guys, it's been pretty average baseball for the Blue Jays lately. And that's not who they are as a team. They are a better team than average. But we're seeing not a slump, not a cold streak by any means, but just failure to launch lately, because this stretch, and it's going to continue against the Marlins, continue back home against the Twins, who are another team that has sold off all of its pieces. They're not going for the playoffs this year at all. You need to win these games. You need to win 5 of these next 6, because one bad series can really flip this back into a division race. I think the Blue Jays holding the AL East lead for as long as they have now, these past several weeks, you get comfortable. This is the way it's going to be. Even when the Blue Jays have lost 2 in a row, so did the Red Sox, so did the Yankees. Nothing's changed, really, in that division race, but it can change. It can change really quickly, and it can snowball. So I think the Blue Jays, this is life as a front runner. You need to stay out in front of people when they're chasing you. You're not chasing anybody anymore. The Blue Jays have spent a decade chasing the rest of Major League Baseball. They haven't caught them. Now they're the team out in front, and it's hard to be out in front because you have nothing to chase now other than your own lead. And that's a little different than having the Yankees, the Red Sox out ahead of you. They need to get this it's not off track, but back on the track they were on.
Keegan, I've got a scheduling question for you. So they played an early game Wednesday. They don't play till Friday. So what would the team do? Do they fly home Wednesday to get some clean socks, then fly down to Tampa? What does that look like for the Blue Jays in their travel itinerary?
Off night in Miami, which I think would have been well received from the players. I guess that turns into 2 off nights in Miami, which, look out. Maybe you have a little fun with off night number 1. That would be my strategy. Big night, night 1 in Miami. Maybe a round of golf, and you calm down for night 2 and have a smoothie or 2. But the Blue Jays, they typically don't go back to Toronto, so they stay on the road right into Miami. And A lot of guys live local-ish in Florida as well, either for tax reasons or lifestyle reasons, but a lot of guys have properties down there. I'd assume a few of them would jump over to those. I bet you a lot of guys are on the golf course right now or just got off of it with a day off. Those guys like to look for a reason. But yeah, a day and a half off in Miami after playing 120 baseball games with a few bucks in your pocket, probably not the worst thing.
So let's go back to what you were saying about sort of maintaining where they are. Everybody's chasing them as opposed to the way they were in the past number of years. What has to happen to keep them there? Like, what do they have to absolutely not have happen?
They've lost their identity a little bit in these last few games, and I don't mean that to be big and dramatic, but the Blue Jays are a great defensive team. We've seen that lose them for the last 5-6 days. They've made some uncharacteristic errors. They've gotten away from who they are as a baseball team. And that's going to happen to anybody. I mean, the Dodgers just lost to the Rockies. It's going to happen. But they need to get back to why they were winning. And that's a confidence thing I think this Blue Jays team does have. They're not surprised by winning. There are teams who go on these streaks and it's kind of, whoa, how's this happening? Let's keep this luck rolling. The Blue Jays believe, and I think they're right, that they're winning because they're really good. And they're winning because they are consciously being a creative offense that pitches really well and fields the ball really, really well. They just got to get back to that. This team is good enough. They're in first place for a reason. But some sloppy defense lately. The base running hasn't quite been there. A couple of tough starts as well, honestly, from the starting rotation, which is full of veterans. And you have not seen that big offensive outburst recently against a good team or a mid-range team. So I think they're close. I feel like I'm doing my best John Schneider impression. I think they're close. I promise they're close. But it's just an identity issue for the Blue Jays right now. Not losing it by any means. They're just 1 inch off to the side. They just need to get back onto that path. I think they're right there. But this is the first time in a couple of months we've seen them just struggle a little bit to get that momentum rolling, because before it was all momentum. Through June, July, the most momentum in Major League Baseball. Then we saw the Brewers do that as well, and they fell off a little bit. They've just got to get it back.
Speaking of a team that does not lack an identity, Keegan, the Yankees, they truly are the Bronx Bombers. I mean, leading the major leagues in home runs by a considerable margin, just reeled off 14 home runs in 2 games against the Rays down in their spring training facility of all places. Now, how close are they, in your estimation, to making a run here and making it difficult for the Blue Jays? Judge has been hurt, and they've had their pitching problems, not to mention their defensive ones. But man, are they mashing? And it's getting a little intimidating, isn't it?
Yeah, they've got a lot of problems, but they do one thing damn well: they hit home runs. And when you do that, you can go on a hot streak just like this. And if you get into a postseason series and you're the Yankees, that's the beauty of home runs. You can do 5 things wrong, but if you hit a couple of home runs, you win. And I'm writing a story about home runs. You forget about the errors. You forget about the manager and whatever thing he said that day. You forget about starting pitching in the bullpen. Power can wipe away everything. Now, at the same time, the reason the teams aren't selling out for power like this